All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I'm Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to do a video on Marathon Digital Holding, stock ticker MARA. They are a Bitcoin miner. They just put out their December operational monthly update. So we talk about Bitcoin and the miners all the time on this channel. If you're new to the channel or if you have not yet subscribed, please do us a favor and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Also, if everybody could please smash the like button, it does help the channel out a lot. Lastly, if you're interested, you can join the channel by hitting the join button on the YouTube page. It's right next to the subscribe button. If you don't see the join button, there is a link below in the description. So members get some members only content. We do a once a week members only live stream every Tuesday after the market closes. And on that live stream, members get to pick a company for me to do a deep dive video on. So we have a lot of fun. I'd love to have you join us. I'm going to go through their operational report. I'm going to go through how they did in December, and then I want to go through how they did over the course of the year and take a look at what may be coming up in the year to come in the year 2023. So I got a lot of charts and graphs, so stay tuned. Let's start out by just looking at Marathon. Right now, it's the middle of the trading day on Friday, so they're currently trading at $4.03. They're in the green at the moment, but their market cap is now $469 million. This is down drastically. They were, for a lot of the year in 2022, they were the largest market cap Bitcoin miner. They're now a couple of $100 million below Riot, and at $469 million, if I go back a little bit just over 1 year, this is about 13 or 14 months ago, the market value of Marathon was $7.5 billion. So even if I fast forward all the way to March of 2022, March 28th, 2022, their market cap was still at $3 billion. So that had come down quite a bit, but still $3 billion. Much like all the other Bitcoin miners, this stock has been taken out. We will look at a chart of what its performance for the year was in 2022 later in the video, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, let's go take a look at their operational update and see what's what. Okay, Marathon Digital Holding announces Bitcoin production and mining operations update for December 2022 achieve a new record in quarterly Bitcoin production. So they produced 475 Bitcoin in the month of December, 1,562 Bitcoin in the fourth quarter. They produced 4,144 Bitcoin in the fiscal year 2022. So you're going to see that these numbers are very, very short of what their goals were coming into this year and throughout the year. So that's one of the things I want to talk about. For Marathon, for me, is always a risk-reward situation. There is a lot of potential upside to this company. However, if we look at their performance over the last year, they really just have not been able to turn the corner and start doing what they say they're going to do. So that's mostly what I want to talk about today. I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about. So this is the report they just put out in January, and they say as of January 1st, operating mining fleet consisted of approximately 69,000 active miners capable of producing approximately 7 exahash. So this is the brand new press release they just put out yesterday. If I go back a full month ago, this was a press release they put out on December 6th. Operating mining fleet consisted of 69,000 active miners capable of producing approximately 7.0 exahash. You'll notice those are the identical numbers. But wait, there's more. As of November 1st, operating mining fleet consisted of approximately 69,000 active miners producing approximately 7.0 exahash. So that is now 3 monthly operational reports in a row where they have not added a single machine to their active mining fleet. And this has been one of the problems with Marathon all year this year. They do have big aspirations, and I believe there's a really good chance they may get to where they say they're going. However, it's taking much, much, much longer than they told us, and they continue to make promises that I feel like they're probably not going to be able to keep. Again, obviously, that's just my personal opinion. Time will tell, but there's no disputing this. Their track record in the past, they have not kept up with what they said they were going to do from an exahash standpoint, from a production standpoint. Now, there have been all kinds of different reasons. So, this is one of those situations where if they get where they're going, if by the end of the year 2023, they're at 23.3 exahash and, they're mining a couple of thousand Bitcoin a month, then this will all probably be water under the bridge and we won't worry about it. But for right now, we are still in the middle of this. So this is a part of the thing that concerns me about this company. Okay, so let's keep going. Increased unrestricted cash to $103.7 million and unrestricted Bitcoin holdings to 7,815 Bitcoin as of December 31st. So I'm going to talk more about that in a bit because to me, that was the very good news this month. At one point in November, they had $50 million outstanding on this line of credit. They had paid it down. They previously announced they paid that down from $50 million down to $30 million. So at its peak at 50 million, that's when they were down to 1,950 Bitcoin that were unencumbered. So then when they paid it down to 30 million, that got them to 4,200 Bitcoin that were unencumbered. And now they have 7,815 Bitcoin that are unencumbered. So that is massive progress in the right direction. In addition to that, they say we finished the year with $103.7 million in cash on hand. This was probably the number one thing I was looking for them to do. They really can't afford to be in a position where they're putting their HODL stack at risk. And at a point, it was looking towards the possibility where 100% of their Bitcoin HODL was potentially going to have to be transferred into security, securing their line of credit. Well, they went the other direction with that. They paid that off in full. That leaves them now with 8,000 Bitcoin that are not securing any debt. Okay, so before I get to the highlights, I want to read just one more paragraph. As we enter 2023, we remain confident in our ability to scale Marathon into one of the largest and most energy-efficient Bitcoin mining operations globally. We have thousands of miners ready to be energized over the coming months, which we expect to make more than triple our current production capacity to approximately 23 exahash by mid-year. Okay, this is their April 2022 Bitcoin monthly update. So I want to show you a chart that they had. Historical and potential hash rate growth based on current shipment schedules. So this is in April of 2022. So this is like 8 months ago. If you look in black, you'll see here that they were at around 3 exahash when they put this out. But then they have a column here, and you may not be able to read this. It's very small print. It says mid-2022, 13.3 exahash. Well, the reality turned out to be December 31st, 2022, 7.0 exahash. So that's 6 months later and just about half the exahash that they were talking about. So they are way, way behind this schedule. Now, again, if they can catch up by the end of the year 2023, I think it all works out in the end. Really, 11 of the 12 months in the year 2022, I was disappointed with their monthly operational update, and they could have avoided that by setting more realistic expectations. To their credit, I will say a lot of different things came at them that it would have been very hard for them to anticipate. Underpromise, overperform. That's the formula for success in anything, and particularly in investing. So, in my opinion, so far, this has been a company that has overpromised and underperformed for really most of the last year. And their December production of 475 Bitcoin was pretty disappointing. At 7.0 exahash, that means their efficiency rate was very, very low. They must have most likely participated in a lot of self-curtailment. They may have also had to curtail due to some severe weather in December. But to put it in perspective, they mined less with 7.0 exahash than Bitfarm mined with 4.4 exahash. So that's a dramatic difference in efficiency. Meanwhile, their counterpart, Riot, was able to mine 659 Bitcoin in this same period of time. So you can see that's why the market caps are separating at the moment. So again, Marathon, I think, has a lot of potential, but this is what's happening. It's important to acknowledge what's happening. Okay, produced 475 Bitcoin through December 31st, produced 4,144 Bitcoin in the fiscal year 2022. So this put them in 4th or 5th place overall. There were 3 companies that mined over 5,000 Bitcoin for the year. We then looked at Riot, which mined just under 5,000 Bitcoin, and you can see Marathon mined just over 4,000 Bitcoin. So I do think that puts them in 5th place for the year. This is definitely a year they expected to compete for 1st place. Okay, so we already talked about on January 1st, they had 7.0 exahash. 2.1 exahash is currently pending energization after 1,000 S19 XPs were installed in December. So what they're saying is there's 2.1 of infrastructure set up. It's not yet energized, so hopefully they will get that energized sooner than later. They were talking in previous reports about having that up and running by December 31st, so we can see that's another deadline that they missed. And then they say, depending on Applied Digital's energization timeline, the company expects to have between 12 exahash and 15 exahash online by March 31st, 2023. So for me, here we go again. This is another expectation they're setting. They're essentially expecting to set up more exahash in this 3-month window than they have in the history of their company. So that's a very lofty goal. I would rather them not say this and have them do it and then tell us they did it, because that would be a huge catalyst for a stock. Right now, they continue to talk about very big numbers, and they've yet to really ever hit any of them. So I wish they would just leave these types of things out of their press releases, out of their monthly reports. Okay, reduce their revolver borrowing from $30 million as of November 30th to 0 as of December 31st. So to me, that was extremely important. So however they had to do it, and they probably had to do that by issuing some of their at-the-market offering, and that is fine with me, because that $30 million line of credit needed to go away. That was the number one thing that I was looking at for Marathon this month, and they did accomplish that. So credit where credit is due. They got rid of that, and they're securing their stash of Bitcoin. Okay, lastly, total Bitcoin holdings. So this is the amount of Bitcoin they had on their balance sheet at December 31st, 12,232 Bitcoin. So that is number one out of all the publicly traded Bitcoin miners. Now, about 4,000 or 5,000 of those they bought a couple of years ago, but the rest of those are self-mined. So this is the number one overall stack out of all the Bitcoin mining companies. So this is one of the reasons why I think their market cap is probably lower than it should be, because they have an awful lot of assets. This is a very strong balance sheet. Okay, so quickly, this is an analysis from October of 2021 through December of 2022. You can see this is their production by month. You can see this is an absolute roller coaster ride. So, you know, in October of 2021, they had 418 produced. November, they had a big problem. This is what keeps happening to them. They have big setbacks. So you'll see by July of 2022, they were down to 72 Bitcoin mined in the month. So that was a disaster. Now, a lot of different things happened. They shifted their entire business plan. So you'll see from there, they started to have big improvements. And they got up to 615 Bitcoin mined in October. So it seemed like things were on a better path and moving in the right direction, and they were starting to do the things that they were talking about doing. But unfortunately, November and December, to me, went the other way. 0 exahash added to their mining capability, and significantly less exahash mined in November and December than they did in October. The majority of the Bitcoin miners were down somewhere between 89 and 92%. So Marathon was no different. So their stock behaved very similarly to their competitors across the industry. If they can get production on track and start to energize some of these machines, there's a really good chance that Marathon moves into my top 4 this year, but that's still an if. I've been saying that now for 10 or 12 months in a row, so I'm gonna have to wait and see it happen before I move them up any further than this. Okay, so this is Marathon on the 1 week time frame. You can see that back in November of 2021, they got all the way up to $83. So this stock peaked. That was when it was about a $7.5 billion market cap. It's way, way down from that. It got down as low as $3.11. It's trading just a little over $4 today. So, it's about 25% off of its lows. But this stock is still down drastically. So obviously, like all the other Bitcoin miners, if Bitcoin can have any kind of rally in the first quarter or the first half of the year, and Marathon can deliver on their expectations, even if they don't get to 15 exahash, if we see them get from 7 to 9 to 11, and we see the production go up accordingly, I think this stock could have a very, very nice rebound. Obviously, this is not financial advice, so please be careful investing. You can see this is an ultra volatile stock, and all the Bitcoin miners are ultra volatile. That's my update for Marathon for December of 2022 and for the year of 2022. So thanks so much for watching. Remember to subscribe and hit the like button, and we will see you in the next video.